Hello ladies, gentlemen, and persons in between. My name is Tim Snowborn, and I and possibly Gypsy here are here to talk about my reaction to the recent healthcare debate on this episode of Serious Issues. So I caught the big debate last week between Senators Klobuchar and Sanders on the Democratic side and Senators Graham and Cassidy on the Republican side about this new bill. About health care and Obamacare and the Graham-Cassidy bill. And as you might imagine, I had some thoughts. First of all, the Republican message seemed to be government bureaucrats and power to the people. Whereas the Democratic message seemed to be we don't want people to die. It's breathtaking how hard it is to convince Republicans that we shouldn't let sick people die. How is this not basic human decency? It's weird how the pro-life party is not put off by the prospect of tens of thousands of people dying from lack of health insurance. Indeed, they want to kick tens of millions of more people off the insurance they have, and they didn't even deny it. Sanders and Klobuchar pointed out several times that the Graham-Cassidy bill will kick tens of millions of people off their health insurance, and the Republicans didn't even deny it. The Republicans always change the subject when the Democrats point out that 30 million people are going to be thrown off their insurance. They don't want to talk about that. The pro-life party wants to throw 30 million people off their insurance, and they didn't even deny it. I will never understand why some people insist that their healthcare decisions, their very lives, mind you, be in the hands of profit-driven insurance CEOs. It is in their financial interests to let you die if taking care of you gets too expensive. I will never understand why millions of Americans are more afraid of government being involved in healthcare than they are of not having access to healthcare or of being dropped from their insurance plans when they get too sick. Do these people really think that more people will die if more people have access to health insurance? Do they really think that more people will die under a single payer system? And I can hear the conservatives already grumbling about, people dying waiting for a doctor in Canada, which virtually never happens, by the way. But you know what? Waiting in line for a doctor is a luxury that tens of millions of Americans don't have. They don't even have the luxury of waiting in line. They're just dying at home because they know they can't afford to go to a doctor. But you're not concerned about them, are you? Graham and Cassidy kept complaining about insurance and pharmaceutical CEOs having too much say in our healthcare laws. Such hypocritical bullshit, as if their new law doesn't give those people more power. And besides, if you're really worried about greedy insurance and pharmaceutical CEOs, why not adopt a single payer system that cuts them out of the equation entirely? Graham and Cassidy kept talking about the Democrats raising taxes to pay for their plan. What they didn't mention, and I can't believe the Democrats didn't have the presence of mind to point this out, what they didn't mention was that the Democrats mostly want to raise taxes on the wealthy to pay for their plan, which is something most Americans agree with, by the way. Most Americans agree that the wealthy should pay more taxes. Cassidy was like, I trust the governors to do what's right for their constituents. You do? I mean, they'll do it in the blue states. They'll come up with a good plan in the blue states. Klobuchar pointed out that Governor Mark Dayton gave Minnesota some of the best health care in America after they adopted the Affordable Care Act, because that's what happens when you actually adopt the Affordable Care Act, when you actually accept it. Of course, the Affordable Care Act isn't going to work in states that haven't embraced it. Of course, it's not going to work in states that haven't expanded Medicaid. Remember this, we would have a public option if it weren't for the Republicans. The original draft of the Affordable Care Act included a public option proposed by the Democrats and shot down by the Republicans. Another thing I can't believe the Democrats didn't have the presence of mind to point out is that Trump is actively sabotaging the Affordable Care Act. He's cut the advertising budget by 90%, he's shortened the open enrollment period, you can't even enroll on Sundays basically. He's slashed insurer subsidies and grants for organizations that help people sign up. He is sabotaging the shit out of Obamacare to drive premiums up and turn public opinion against the law, which right now enjoys surprising popularity. I couldn't believe Lindsey Graham actually pushed that bullshit about Planned Parenthood selling body parts. Is he not aware that the creators of those videos have been indicted on felony charges for lying their asses off? Is he not aware that Planned Parenthood has been investigated and absolved for this fake scandal? There are problems with the Affordable Care Act, but only one party wants to fix them. The other party wants to scrap the whole system and replace it with something vastly inferior that will cost more money and more lives. Let's not forget, as others have pointed out before, both of those Republican senators that have spent so much time and energy warning people about the dangers of government health care, both of them have government health care. And they wouldn't trade it for a private plan if you stuck a gun in their faces. The Republicans kept talking about America going bankrupt. Again, the pro-life party is so much more concerned about money for insurance and pharmaceutical CEOs, mind you, than they are about saving people's lives. I know I'm not the first person to point this out, but it's weird how the Republicans have all the money in the world for killing people, but no money at all for saving people. I know part of the concern on the conservative side is that the government can't do anything right, so they don't want them to manage healthcare. But it's weird how both parties trust the government to do certain things well and don't trust them to do other things well. The conservatives don't trust the government at all when it comes to healthcare, but they trust them implicitly when it comes to the military and the police. I don't know why they think the government is so flawlessly competent when it comes to the military and the police, but so thoroughly incompetent when it comes to just about anything else. More importantly though, if we are going bankrupt, and that's a dubious question in itself, if we are going broke, it's not because we're spending too much money taking care of each other like we're supposed to. It's because the wealthy are paying a fraction of the taxes they should be paying and hoarding the money we could be using to pay off our debts. If we are going broke, you may rest assured that is the reason. That and our overbloated military budget. And finally, let me go back to the beginning with this power to the people nonsense. Graham and Cassidy kept talking about how they wanted to give the power back to the people. You don't empower people by taking away the help they need. If you take away someone's glasses, you're not empowering them to see better by themselves. If you take away a guy's wheelchair, you're not empowering him to walk on his own. If you unplug a person's respirator, you're not empowering them to breathe on their own. The next time a Republican tells you they want to empower you to make your own healthcare decisions, tell them that you're not voting them out of office next year, you're empowering them to spend more time with their families. So, that's my little healthcare rant. Tell me what you think. Do you like the Affordable Care Act? Do you think that Graham Cassidy would have been better? Do you agree that it's high time we adopted a single-payer system like the rest of the civilized world? I appreciate you joining me for this conversation. I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments below. Please check out my other videos for previous conversations and join me for future ones. Good talk, guys. Catch you next time.